Well, welcome back on the podcast, everybody listening. I've got two guests here, Brian and Nancy from RightNow Media. Who wants to go first and introduce themselves?
Nancy, go for it.
All right.
One thanks, Nick, for having us today. I am Nancy Matossian. I'm based in Southern California, and I have been doing kids ministry for a very long time. I've also worked, not only in churches, but also with some parachurch organizations like Slingshot Group and placing kids pastors all over the country. And I love kids ministry. Family, 5 daughters, all young adults. And that's
That's
do you
you.
edit this
That's
thing?
you.
You don't need to edit this,
And we're
do
going
you?
to talk
That's
about the
me.
connection here in a
Go,
minute. But
Brian.
yeah, that's
I
you.
know. I was like, do I tell how I am with RightNow Media
Yeah, we'll
yet?
get
Or
to that.
okay, go.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Brian. Yeah, I love working with Nancy here over this last year and a half. I lead RightNow Media. We love serving the church with discipleship resources. We've done it really for almost 50 years, but kind of in our current phase for the last 15 years with this streaming library of content. Historically, it's mostly been for kind of youth and small groups for adults, but we've taken a big step here recently to jump into this kids ministry space with help from Nancy and others because we love the church and believe the church really can be a key factor in discipling people, including kids and families, and so we want to step in and be a part of that as well.
Yeah, that's great. And Nancy and I, we knew each other from the Slingshot days that you talked about there. And so I was excited to hear that you all were working together on this. But take me back to the why. Like, why? Because kids ministry definitely very different content than what you could normally get on RightNow Media. We were talking before we hit record that I feel like every church has RightNow Media, like my church has had. It's just very ubiquitous, and I think you said you're in 25,000 churches, so where a lot of people are very familiar with it from that side, from the small groups, adult curriculum, things like that. But what made you get into it here with kids ministry? I mean, it seems kind of logical, the one piece that was missing, but what led
Yeah.
you there?
Yeah, for us, really kind of coming out of COVID, we were just going, okay, God, you've given us, some reach with these number of churches we're working with. We've had this passion for nearly 50 years of creating these discipleship resources. What is the next season? What does the next chapter look like? And coming out of COVID, I think there's a lot of churches asking themselves, are we discipling people well? Are there things that we could and should be doing better? And so as we were asking some of those same questions on how do we partner with churches, this idea of kids ministry just kept coming up, just thinking, okay, yeah, we're currently not really active in that space, and it's such a critical and crucial space. I mean, I have 4 kids. I volunteer in my kids ministry. Like, I just know, the power of biblical, influential leaders in the lives of those kids and how that really helps shape their faith from a young age. And so we as a ministry just looked at it and said, okay, if we're about the church and we're about discipleship, then maybe we could also, partner with these churches in the area of kids ministry. And I mean, it's a big step and it's a big project. So it was daunting, but we believe like that was what God had prepared us to do at that moment.
Yeah. And Nancy, how'd you get involved? What got you connected, and
I
what's
love
your
the
role
story.
been in it?
So my church, my local church, was RightNow Media Church, and my family pastor over kids ministry was like a huge fan. Like, I'm right, Brian, like huge fan. Jordan just like, and so he was taking us to the conferences, and he got connected with their creative team. And actually, originally we talked about the fact that I create a lot of original content for like VBSs. And so that was our first conversation. I thought we were talking about VBS. Your team, Brian, thought that we were talking about kids curriculum. So it was kind of this, they don't do it. Why would we talk to them, right? And then I got called in for my interview. I have to say this. And they had all these big, amazing dreams and plans. And they were, I mean, the Right Now Media team is already incredible, but it was such a fun day. And I don't know if you remember this, Brian, but like I walked in and I sat down and like spun around in my chair. Do you even remember that? And I was
Yes.
like, oh, I hope you realize kids ministry just entered the building. And then all their teams came in and started sharing all these dreams. And my heart just went, oh my goodness, this is exactly the next step in kids ministry curriculum. And not just for Right Now Media, but for what kids ministry leaders like needed and could totally use. And so anyway, so yes, they offered me just a position to be a part of the team and dream and consult with them and give feedback. And it's been an awesome year and a half. And here we
It's
are.
great.
Is that the next
And
question? Here we are.
and And by the time, yeah, people are watching this, it's out. Like it's out, and people are using it. And tell me about it. Like, what does it consist of? Are there two age group versions? Like, how does that work? Age group versions. What's the content like? Give us a
Nancy, you do
picture.
it. You have a better sense of the kids ministry language than I do. So go for it.
And I'm like so over the top excited about it. I know. Tell me to tone it down if I need to, Nick, if it's too much for the
That's
listeners.
totally fine. This is what we love about Nancy.
It is for two age groups. And it is we're calling it preschool and elementary. The division is pretty close though. It's all the same story for both ages. The actual teaching videos are two different teachers for the different age groups, but the rest of the content is really going to be directed at, like the video content is directed at that kind of fifth grade boy. But it's designed more for elementary, their engagement stuff and their bigger connecting videos. And then you can use it for preschool. Totally can. It's just more. So yeah, so it's kind of the same and divided at the same time.
What are all the aspects of it? Like most curriculum have the same kind of things. You've got the video, you have a script where they could teach it live, the small group stuff. Like tell me about that.
Okay, they have engagement video, which is actually, this is the part where RightNow Media brings in such their uniqueness, because the engagement video is a story. It's a full acting media experience where the kids get sucked into how exciting this story is. And it's not Bible story. It's literally like the first, their creation series it's all taking place as astronauts and how mind blown they are by the God's creation, that kind of stuff. With some silly fun elements involved there too. Yes.
Of course. Yeah, gotta have it.
So the curriculum always starts with that. Okay, so it has this basic engagement video. Then all of it has a Bible story video and a teaching video. It has the slides that are it also comes with an activity. I feel like I'm all over the place. Sorry. Trying to do the basics. Oh, they also have a huge worship library that RightNow Media already has.
That helps.
They designed one song that's inside of the curriculum each week already, but you can click on it and you can go to the worship library and pull in any songs that they already have.
Yeah.
Memory verses included, with hand motions and it's kind of got all the elements, but then these added ones are the two different teaching and Bible story video and an engagement video.
Brian, let me ask you this. You'll learn, because you'll be able to answer this better like a year from now, I'm sure. But what have you learned about creating a kids curriculum that is very different than what you were doing with adult small group content, youth ministry content? It's just now come out. You're probably going to learn a lot more. Nancy knows. Kids ministry people are going to be like, can I get it this way? Can you do that? That's too long. That's too short. That's too much Bible. That's too little Bible. You know what I mean? You probably get that on some other things too, but I doubt you get it as much as you could get it in the kids ministry world. Can we get a resource list for that? Is there an app for this? What have you learned so far?
Yeah. I do think we'll learn a lot. I think a couple of things. So we've never been involved in that full year. And in fact, we have a 3-year scope and sequence for this kids curriculum. So we've never been involved in something that's that robust. And so we've had to learn a lot, but it's been a lot of fun for our teaching team to be thinking, okay, we get a chance to be with, in this case, these kids and these ministries for a long time and a lot of weeks in a row. And so there's this idea of, okay, you can keep building and you can then, switch gears a little bit to hold their attention, but it's still within this right theme and you can then kind of circle back. And so it just feels like a much more comprehensive experience, which has been fun for our team to do compared to, a 6 or 8 or 10 session study that you're doing for students or adults. Those are great experiences, but it's just such a limited time you kind of have with that group. So here you really feel like, gosh, if a church is going to do this with us for the next 3 or more years, we get a chance to really partner with them, really get in the lives of those kids and those families for a long time. And so that's been really fun for our team to think about. That's just a little different than what we've been doing historically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And I imagine all this is just part of RightNow Media's normal subscription. Is it an extra cost? How does it work?
Yeah, so we ended up deciding that it was going to be, honestly, just for our sake, to be able to afford to do it, we needed to make it a separate subscription. And that gave churches the flexibility to choose if they would want to use RightNow Media or the RightNow Kids curriculum or both. And there's certainly a discount to using both. So most of the churches we serve on the RightNow Media side of things are 100 to 200 people. I mean, it's your average
Yeah.
church in America is that size. And so we have loved serving that size church that, they have a good staff and a good, base of volunteers, but they don't have all the money and all the people in the world, to pull off everything. And so when you think about the kids side, it's like, yeah, we know that that's going to be a very volunteer-led, volunteer-driven thing. So it is a separate subscription, but it's very, very affordable for that, kind of what I would say normal average size church here in America.
That's great. Does the price scale with church size, number of kids? Like, how does that work? I should have looked into all this before we spoke.
No, it's all
Should have
good.
done my research.
It does. It scales with the church size, which is how we mirror it on RightNow Media. So we just kind of take the same tiers that we have that on that side of things and just matched it up for RightNow Kids.
That makes sense. Then what about like some of the other elements? I was just having a conversation this morning with a friend about curriculum, and we were talking about this may not be a popular opinion. We'll see what you all think. But I feel like a lot of curriculums that are out there, and the growth of kids ministry curriculum options has been a lot over the last 5 to 10 years, and which is great. And I feel like this is probably not the kind of thing I should say out loud on a podcast, but I feel like there's a certain number of them that, like, if you were picking a curriculum, I'd pick from these. I don't know the numbers, but let's call it, 5 to 10 curriculums, although there's probably 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, you know what I mean? But let's say there's 20 that are out there. A lot of them, to a point, I don't know what percentage, but like 80% of them are going to be the same or similar, right? We're teaching the same Bible. We're trying to teach it probably the similar way with age appropriate, fun, but all the things. And then some of the things that differentiate it are the other things. And for you, a big differentiator is your media platform.
Yeah.
I would imagine another big differentiator is your video quality, because when you come in with all of that in store. But then the other things I think about too are partnering with parents has become a much bigger aspect of a curriculum in kids world, and volunteers, like helping the volunteers. So speak to some of those, like what's in yours, what have you wrestled with, what are you working on?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hit the big ones that we really want to make sure we were focused on, particularly after talking to a lot of churches. So yeah, we put a lot of creativity and energy into the video and pieces that are in the curriculum, but you're not just sitting your kids down and watching video for 45 minutes. I mean, there's several short videos that are going to help kind of tee up and push the conversation forward that are super high quality, super engaging, super biblical. That is our history. So we wanted to make sure that was a key part of whatever curriculum we put out there. But like you said, I mean, volunteers, right? I mean, again, I'm a volunteer in my kids ministry. That's a huge task. That's a huge ministry opportunity. And I think most people, myself included, we don't really want to go back there and volunteer to be administrating technology and trying to figure out logistics. Like, we just want to be with the kids and make sure we're a part of what God's doing in their life. And so as we're creating the curriculum, we're thinking, how do we make it in such a way that the volunteer isn't stressed about administering it, but they can focus on the kids? So we're making it available where the teacher can play and present the media, from their computer without having to download and put stuff in ProPresenter. They can if they want. They don't have to. They can customize and move the slides and the arrangement around so that it's customized, so they can add their own. Like, hey, we've got a camp coming up next month and we want you kids to know about it, and they can add a piece of media in there or add a slide in there so that it's custom to their particular group. For the person at the church that administers it kind of overall, you can, within our curriculum, just add the teachers and volunteers that are going to be assigned to that week, and we'll remind them what's coming up and make sure they can log in and see that stuff. We try to make the printed material that you could look at or download as a teacher, really easy. So it's like, okay, in one page, I kind of know the program and order of my day here. I've got all the supplemental pages behind it to support that. But if I just needed one page to hold in my hand to kind of guide me through the class, it's right there. So again, we just wanted that volunteer to feel like, okay, I can focus on the kids if this part of it's easy for me. And then the last thing I would say is, again, you mentioned parents. We knew from the get-go that, we just don't want to outsource. We don't want parents to feel like they're supposed to outsource their kids' faith to the church. The church has got to be a part of that process. The local church is absolutely critical, but we didn't want mom or dad to feel like, okay, I checked the box, I've sent my kid to kids ministry and that's taken care of. But we know that a lot of parents feel like, but what am I supposed to do? How do I do it? I don't have the confidence to do it. I don't even have maybe my own kind of biblical knowledge to know what to ask or how to respond. So instead of just a print out take-home sheet, everybody that's using God's Kids, every mom or dad will get an app that will correspond with the week that their kids are going through those lessons. And so then on, Sunday afternoon, they'll be prompted and said, here's 3 questions to ask your kid. Here's a short video to watch. Here's kind of a prayer to have or a thing to do that kind of reinforces that lesson. And the same thing on Tuesday, another prompt shows up on their app and says, hey, show your kid this video and ask him these 2 questions and have this kind of memory verse moment. Same thing on Thursday. And our hope is, if you can kind of prompt mom or dad 3 times a week to just be thinking about with their kid, hey, this is what you're learning. Let's ask questions. Let's engage in it. That it takes it from the one thing we did on Sunday to, no, now it's a natural part of our life as a mom or dad. And we felt like putting it in an app where people are already living and just prompting them, again, 3 times in the week to just nudge and say, have this conversation, have this moment while driving, while at dinner, while whatever, just opens the door for mom or dad to feel like, oh, I can do this. You've given me an easy way to start it and to have those conversations. So you hit the nail on the head. I mean, volunteers, parents, the media, those are definitely things that we want to put a lot of emphasis on. And that's kind of how we brought it to the table and said, okay, is this what we can do for this curriculum to make it meaningful?
Mm-hmm. Is it a separate app for the parents, or is it part of the RightNow Media app?
It'll be a separate app. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a discussion. Like, how do you do that? And then if, like, here's a question, maybe you're doing this, maybe you're not. If I'm a volunteer, would I ever be able to go, like, get the curriculum in my app? Like the RightNow Media app? Is that something you could do in the future where
I see
it's edited? It's edited. I log into my account, and because
Right.
I'm known as a volunteer, I can access the curriculum that way.
Well, and so the
Just curious.
volunteers will have access to the curriculum through the RightNow Kids website and the RightNow Kids app. So they'll be able to see it, regardless. And mom and dad will actually also be able to see, if they want to, all the components that were there, in the Sunday curriculum side of it.
Yeah. Okay.
We probably won't port the content directly over to RightNow Media, just because I think apart from that kind of platform and engagement tool, it'll feel a little bit random, but we are making that content available digitally, to all the people, parents, volunteers, administrators that need to have access to it
Through the separate app, which that makes sense too. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I just think I've told a number of friends in the curriculum space this same idea. It's like it's 2026. We're far enough into this that you should have a world where, like, the same data is here, content, curriculum, whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a volunteer view, there's a staff view, there's a
Yeah.
parent view, but it's all tied together.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense that, that's all separate things, or they're not all connected in some way or something.
Yeah.
And multiple apps, I think, makes sense too. I know another curriculum organization was doing, like, the parent thing, but then wanted something for volunteers, and then the volunteer stuff's going to be in the parent app. And it's like, that's fine too, but it's a little confusing. It's like, hey, you're 24 years old and single, could download the family app to get access to the volunteer curriculum. But I get it. People, you're trying to make it simple and not have 18 apps or whatever.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I would love to, Nick, do you mind if I speak into a couple of
Yeah.
those things that Brian said?
Go for it. Yeah.
From the Kidmin side, and why I was so excited about their heart and their passion. First of all, the idea that they really wanted to look at the churches that he mentioned, the churches that are the 100 to 200 people in the church, because it made their heart and their focus to be different than other curriculums that can produce for the masses. And the bigger churches, I think a lot of curriculum companies look at, let me get ready for all of these big ones, to the other side where, and I keep joking about this when I say it, but the 18 pages that you get of curriculum for a big church who has staff who can go through it and who has staff who can create things is great, but not for the church that has a volunteer kidsman director or a part-time kidsman director, right? And so that was part of, like, that has been my heart and my passion. And also the idea of even church plants having a tangible thing they can work with. And then you had mentioned the connecting point and the fact that it is really just RightNow Kids is kind of separate from the RightNow Media. I think for people who are not users of RightNow Media, being in the RightNow Media platform can be very overwhelming too. So it's trying to keep it, but it is all connected once you're in RightNow Kids. And then and then I was going to say, so they flipped it. So they designed it for the smaller churches, but then the add-ons are designed so the bigger churches can use it. So they kind of flipped that, the way they designed it. So it can totally be used by a mega church, but it's not excluding the smaller churches. And then the parent app, I know Brian mentioned it, but I can't, like, for Kidmin leaders, Nick, this is so exciting. This is like the real, like, I don't have to send an email. I don't have to craft an email. I don't have
Yeah.
to send an email to tell the parents what they
Yeah.
are. I don't have to make sure, clean up all the take-home papers. Yeah, they still take home crafts and stuff, but just that one that
Sure.
tells them what it's about, right? And also, I don't have to have that weight of, oh, I should remind the parents. Because,
Yeah.
and then, you know what? One of the moments, the faith moments that comes out during the week is like kind of the video, rewatch the Bible story video with your kids. And if they didn't
Mhm.
come that week, then they watch it. And then you know what it fixes? It fixes next Sunday when we say, last week, let's review. And everybody wasn't there, that feeling?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so many reasons for a Kidmin leader that it is like, it's just, and it's not too much. It's not like it's not a parenting app. It's a parent app for the curriculum. So, okay, thanks. Thanks for letting me share.
Oh, you're good. I am
What
while
the question is.
while you've been talking, I've been on the site going through RightNowKids.org,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. But the video content is obviously very good, which that's what you got to bring to. You got to bring the fact that you're like, I mean, one of the premier video content producers in the Christian space, and you got to bring that to a kid's side. So just even like the samples there on the homepage, it's like, oh yeah, this is obviously really well done. What were you going to talk about with the 3 pillars?
No, I just told Brian we forgot to mention the 3 pillars.
Oh,
Like
well,
there's
what
a
are the
3
3
pillar
pillars?
page right there, Nick. It's
okay.
the way it's all.
Yeah, so I mean, the curriculum's called God's Kids, and I mean, the idea there is just simply reminding us, as parents and as kidsmen leaders, hey, these are God's kids, right? I mean, as they're trusting in Jesus, they're part of His family, and so as we were coming up with the scope and sequence, we were trying to think, okay, what are some of the main pillars? What are the main teaching elements we want to make sure are there? So our team, again, after a lot of research and prayer, landed on 3: God's family, God's story, God's character. And so the curriculum will weave those 3 pillars throughout the years. It's not like there's a year on one and then a year on another and a year. It's like every 6 weeks, you're going to go from this pillar to this pillar, back to that one, over to this one, with the thought of, again, even the reason behind those 3 pillars is, okay, God's family. In a world where you can sometimes feel, even as a kid, like, where do I belong? And am I kind of isolated and independent? And, they may not be thinking this, but we all know, like, the anxiety and depression and loneliness that adults are facing. I mean, that can trickle into the kid world where it's like, okay, I kind of sense something's not right. So we just want to remind them through God's, through Scripture, that they're part of God's family. You belong here. God's character, I would say, in a world where there's a lot of folks questioning, like, well, what is good? What is right? What is just? Like, we want to remind them through, again, the Bible, that God's character is good and trustworthy all the time. And so that pillar will emphasize that when it comes to those moments in the curriculum. And then God's story. Again, in a world where there's a lot of people wondering what is truth and is there even such thing as truth, we want to keep pointing them back to God's story is true and it is the truth. And so those 3 things will just constantly be woven throughout those years of curriculum. So that's kind of the support background to all of our scope and sequences, making sure that we're emphasizing those things, again, in kind of in 6-week chunks, so that you kind of don't get bored, so to speak, but things will kind of change up a little bit every 6 weeks, and you'll kind of shift to a new visual and a new kind of
theme
and all that stuff, just so it's like, okay, something new, something fresh, I'm re-engaged as a kid.
Yeah, I know. I'm going through the scope and cycle on the site now, and why 6 weeks instead of 4? Just curious. I mean, I'm sure 6 weeks is probably way more common in the adult Bible study world or a youth thing or whatever. But like, what led you, like in the kids world, you get a lot of 4 or monthly, like whatever it's 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it is.
Why did we do that, Nancy? Do you remember?
Yeah, well, I think that was the conversation in the beginning, is that most curriculums are designed monthly, but this curriculum is not in a straight line. So meaning that if a church, so part of it too is design. So you choose your starting date and you put it in. And then it connects to the app, it connects to the curriculum, it gets the parent, it gets everything lined up. If you want to go in and you have like 2 weeks that you're going to do family services, instead of skipping those weeks in the curriculum, which you would usually do with other curriculums, you actually pause it, and then it kicks back in, you continue with that curriculum. So it's almost like you buy the full year and you get it as long as you get to use them as long as you need. Then there's 4 pullouts. It's not by a calendar year. So I guess that's what I'm saying. You get 52 weeks, right? So then there's the way it's laid out, 6 weeks. Then there's 2 like pull out ones or fill in ones, I guess it would be. So if you go 6 weeks, but you want to start the next one the week later, there's a whole separate lesson, and it's all gospel driven and all about that point is the gospel. And then
Yeah.
for Easter and Christmas, there's 4 lessons that just land in your calendar, and you can choose to skip them or use all 4. Or so it's kind of like you get to customize your year instead of having to stay on the curriculum the way that everybody else is on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I see here. I'm looking through it because you can see the Christmas, Easter, and the 2 standalones with the other 7 6-week series make up 52 weeks of the year. Yeah, that makes sense. That's great. Cool. Well, it's just launching. Like, what's it been like so far? Just launching it, like the rollout and the promotion and.
Yeah, this being our first go around, we didn't know fully what to expect, but I would say very encouraged in these last really 2 months as we've started to engage churches and just really more officially tell them about it, starting getting feedback, showcasing what we had so far. And they won't start using it until this weekend. So by the time this comes out, it will have been launched. But we're just on the threshold of like getting people to actually use it and get that kind of real time feedback. But the early feedback, we've had a lot of great feedback of folks saying, okay, yeah, this is scratching an itch. Or again, you're talking to a lot of churches that maybe don't even use an official curriculum to this point because it's like, well, we couldn't afford it and we didn't have something that was kind of easy to administer. And so we kind of piecemeal something together and make it up. And so we're finding churches that are just really excited and eager, and it's been encouraging to us. The number of churches so far that have said, yeah, we're ready to sign up and use it has been overwhelming to us, and so that's been just a really positive thing for our team.
That's great.
Yeah, and to wait, sorry, Nick, I keep interrupting you every time you're
you're good. You're good. Go.
I wanted to say, just even from the Kidman perspective, some of the things that RightNow Media is providing to partner with us. I'm actually launching the curriculum at my church as well, so I get to do the real time with them. But is the fact that we have an onboarding person assigned to us, and so not only we got to talk to sales, and you get the whole little layout of what it is, right? But then there's this whole team of onboarding. So I have a person. And so as Kidman leaders, that's what I would encourage them to is that you wouldn't be doing it alone. It's like I can reach out to her anytime that I have a question. And I don't know, it's just, I wanted to make sure I mentioned that because that's an important piece to launching anything new and, just kind of being heard and known while you're doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I looked at the pricing on the site. I think the pricing's great. I think that'll be great for churches. So, I'm not that I'm an expert in curriculum pricing because I'm not, but just having some sense of what it is, I think it's a great price point.
Very well priced, yes.
That's good. Cool. Well, any last things you'd want to share, or people can go get it now, rightnowkids.org.
Yeah, and we've made available 2 lessons that people can go and access, sign up and get access to those 2 lessons kind of for an unlimited amount of time so they can look at them, process them, evaluate stuff with their team. We just wanted people to be able to truly experience and look at least a few of the lessons so they could understand what it is. And so that's available at rightnowkids.org, free to anybody that wants to go get access to it.
Cool. Well, thank you all for doing this great work and for all the stuff you've already done with RightNow Media, by the way. Go ahead.
Just gonna say.
You got something else to add?
Say if they're interested and if they're, I would just encourage them that the RightNow Media team. What is it? Are we allowed to say outside of the company what you call your team? Customer.
What are you asking?
She's asking behind the scenes stuff.
Support me. Is it behind the scenes word, or are we allowed to say it? Anyway, they have an incredible team. Anyone you talk to, they love working there. They love ministry people. They love Jesus. It's fun to just get on a call. So I would just encourage any Kidman leader, any church leader, just to say, I'm willing to make that first 25-minute call with them to hear more about it and to get connected with RightNow Media and RightNow Kids, in general. So.
Well, thanks, Nancy.
It's a teaser. If you call and talk to them, we'll also tell you what you call them behind the scenes. There you go. That's how people.
I know.
People are going to want to know what that is. So now they can call and they'll find out.
And they can tell them. We don't have to record it.
That's how you can find out. Yeah, it's a secret. It's like what they call a teaser in the business. Love it. All right. Well, thank you all for coming on the podcast, for the work you're doing. You are in every church and doing great work. I laugh all the time because a lot of times my staff or volunteers are like, "Hey, we can't get RightNow Media load on the TV." And it's like, okay, you got to go to this input first, and then it's in this. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's my role with the RightNow Media in our church is tech support. Because all our small groups are using it in different ways and different things, and then the account gets logged out or whatever. But it's great that people can have their own account and all those things. So it makes a lot of sense that you moved to the kids curriculum world, and so I'll be excited to hear how it's going like a year or two from now. Maybe we should talk again and catch up, and I'll also be interested to hear what you learn. I think you will get a lot of the kids ministry.
I just sent an email to our team today because, again, it launches in a few days, and just was kind of celebrating where we're at and saying, we're about to learn a lot. And so, we just need to be ready to listen, adjust, and adapt where we need to, because we want this to be as effective as it can possibly be.
Yeah.
So we'll learn a lot.
That's great. That's right. Well, thank you all. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick.